Hi, I'm Insomniac and welcome to my channel. It is Wednesday the 6th of July, a little after, well, almost 6 p.m. I have to apologise for not being online at all. I've just had a really tough few weeks, tough on my body. Um, I'm just so exhausted, really, truly exhausted to the point where it's hard just to stay awake. Um, a lot of the day I just feel like just going upstairs and just lying on the bed just with my eyes closed, just to kind of get my head together or rest my body. It just needs so much rest, I think, where I've been bouncing off the walls for what, uh, 9 months? 9 months or so, 10 months, something like that. But I think my body's caught up with me. There are some points, some days where I'm a little hyperactive with speech or pep up. It's actually usually about this time where I've got a little bit more energy for maybe 2 hours, and then nothing. Like, and like the whole day I'm going like absolutely exhausted. I feel terrible, like really bad. So I do apologise for not being around, but it's taken everything to actually do this video today, because I knew I'm kind of taking the mick a bit with not doing any videos for as long as it has been. Even though I've been feeling awful, it's like I do owe you all an explanation. And you know, I'm supposed to film not just at the times of mania, I'm supposed to film, you know, really tough times too, and it has been one of those times. And yeah. Oh, you don't know. Yeah, when was it? Not this week. Um, Last Thursday I ended up booking a doctor's appointment. Because what happened was, I think since about last Tuesday, well, for weeks it seems the carpal tunnel-like symptoms have been getting worse. But then last Tuesday it was like a whole new level. It really was. It was unrelenting. There was shooting pains going all the way sort of up my wrists into sort of like here, there, in my fingers. This horrible, very painful, to the point I felt like crying. The word doesn't even describe how bad it was, but this horrible prickling, really painful prickling in my fingertips especially, and thumb. That was the worst part of it. And then it wasn't like, obviously I have it a lot worse in my right hand than my left hand because I am predominantly right-handed, but it didn't just stop there. It was in both hands. It wasn't going away. Like normally it would just be several points in the day, maybe about 8-10 times a day I'll get a shooting pain or something that lasts maybe 2 minutes at a time, and then, you know, then I've got to kind of like flex and sort of like flick and sort of do movements like that, and then it kind of eases it after a little while. But this, it wasn't going, and it was getting worse. And the thing that made me go to the doctors was because it had actually spread. Like my fingers and my hands had gone numb. I was having pain, but it was numb as well, this numb, tingly, prickling, shooting, and it had gone all the way up to about here on both my arms. Also, I was getting the pain in my feet, the shooting, burning, all of that in my feet as well, going all the way up to sort of like mid-shin. And that's what freaked me out, was the fact that it lasted 48 hours and it was showing no signs of letting up. And yeah, that really did freak me out, because I thought, you know, neurological things, sometimes there's no coming back from it, you know, so you do need to get seen quickly, because otherwise you could be left with permanent damage. So I've watched enough hospital dramas to know that. So yes, we can't book doctor's appointments at our doctor's surgery still. It's ridiculous. So I had to have a telephone consultation. They said, oh yeah, I'll get a call within the next few hours. I called at 8 in the morning. They said I could get a call anytime, in the morning. Anytime in the morning, yeah. So I ended up getting a call about 11:15, I think, maybe about that time, and told my GP what was happening. You know, I said, this prolonged, it's never been like this before, it just doesn't go away. I'm concerned. She asked me a few questions, I can't exactly remember what. And so, yeah, she was like, well, can you get here in 15 minutes? I was like, well, I'm going to have to get a taxi. So there's a chance I could be anything up to 10 minutes past that, like having to wait for a taxi to get there. So got the taxi there. She saw me, gave a little examination. She pressed on certain points, but by that point I wasn't getting the shooting. It was just literally the numbness, prickling, pins and needles, weird. It was that. So I remember she like pressed sort of here somewhere. That didn't do anything. I kind of thought she was trying to get, you know, the nerve responsible for carpal tunnel. I didn't react to it at all. She did press very lightly though, and then she pressed on a few parts, I think maybe knuckles or joints, I can't remember, but I mentioned the low folate as well, and she said, well, it could actually be to do with the low folate, why I'm getting this. So she prescribed a really high dose of folic acid. And I remember saying to her, I said, so she said she thinks it does appear to be or similar to carpal tunnel like pain. So she sent off some kind of referral for me to do a self-referral to a carpal tunnel clinic or something. But when I read into that, that's mostly surgery based. I don't want anything like that. You know, because I've read that within 2-3 years sometimes the pain's back. I mean, so what's the point putting yourself through surgery and the risk of anaesthetic if it's just going to come back? Like, I'd have to look a lot more into it before deciding upon anything like that. But so what was it? So yeah, she said about the folic acid, low folate. I said I've had low folate several times in the last couple of years. Like, could there be something that's causing it? And she just basically said something along the lines of, you know, we've had lots of blood tests recently, which I have. So she doesn't see the need to do any at this time. But what I'm going to do is, what are we on today? We're on Wednesday. So tomorrow, Thursday, it will have been a week since I've seen the GP. Sorry. The, what's it called? Oh, what was I going to say? I'm so sorry. So yeah, it would have been a week. Yep. That extreme pain only lasted for a little over 48 hours, and then it's still worse than before though. Not as bad as that, but I mean, it's worse than before that happened, because I've basically got the sort of pins and needles, slight numbness constantly. Like, it's not gone. Thankfully, that prickling thing only happens maybe a couple of times a day now. Well, a few times a day. The shooting pains are about the same as before, as in regularity. Oh God, itchy and Jesus. It's like my legs are killing and they're so itchy and everything as well. So I don't even know where I'm at. I'm so sorry. Where were we? Yeah, so this Thursday it would have been a week. I'm going to give it till next Thursday, so it would have been 2 full weeks. If this numbness and pins and needles like thing hasn't gone, then I think it's time to see her again, because then it would have been 2 weeks since I've been on the high dose folic acid, and if that doesn't make a difference, then obviously, to be honest, when I've read my symptoms, it does seem a lot like, and this is one of the earlier things that I had thought of, I've even got it written down in my book right near the top, is, sorry, it's just so itchy, is that word that I can't pronounce, pernicious anemia. It's a B12 deficiency, but where I think the intrinsic factor depletes, or your body can't store B12 properly or something. But the thing I saw, I found this print off on a website to do with that kind of anemia, like a support group, I think, or an awareness charity or something. And actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different, I'm trying to think of the word, groups of symptoms, and I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, in 5 of those groups out of the 6. I'm having symptoms within those groups. So I will tell you, this would actually, if that's what it was, would explain a bloody lot. It really would, because, oh, that's what I forgot to mention. With all of these shooting pains and the carpal tunnel getting worse and all of that, the carpal tunnel like pain, I'm calling it like because it's not confirmed, has been really bad, but getting worse since sort of like around the time, I think just before my cat Dexter died. So I think that kind of triggered something, some kind of thing in my body, because that's when it started getting really bad, and then it's just like progressing. But for the last, I'd say, well, actually no, since then actually is when I noticed it. My stomach has been really, really bad. Like my IBS-C, I'd say, has actually turned into IBS mixed, which is completely, I'd say, new for me, as in, like, I've always had IBS-C, not mixed at all. The only way I'd go is with laxatives, basically. And like now I can be really bunged up and have the complete opposite, both back and forth in a day. And it's like, most mornings, it's actually sort of like touch and go if I can even have a morning appointment anywhere, because I'm too scared to leave the house in case, I get caught short, because my belly just feels icky all of the time. Like when you're not well, you got icky belly. It just feels like, ugh. And like, you feel like you could be on the verge of having diarrhea, and sometimes you have like very, very loose stools, but not quite. It's not really a thing I like to talk about, but yeah, so that, I'd say since June, beginning of June, that's been really problematic, like daily. That's been a daily occurrence, this IBS mixed. It's been really bad. It's been daily for over a month now. But prior to that, I would have bouts of it, but for a few hours in the morning it would be bad, and then I'd be okay. But now it's like almost all the way until just a little gone lunchtime, it's touch and go, and that's, I'm going off topic, and that's what I was trying to say. With this anemia thing, one side effect of that It doesn't say worsening of IBS, but it actually does mention IBS-like things there. Like, hold on, I'll read it quickly. So neurological symptoms, I'm only going to go through the ones that I'm experiencing, not all of them. So this is what I think I've got, because, that's what I forgot to say. I said to the doctor with the carpal tunnel thing, I said, would that affect my feet as well? I said, because I've been having, up to sort of like the ankle, just past the ankle towards the shin. My feet have been, the experience I'm having in my hands, I'm having in my feet too. And she just went quiet. Like, I never got a, oh, no, that, or did she? Actually, no, yeah, I do think she said it wasn't related, but then she never asked any questions about my legs, feet at all. And when I read up about that, I actually read about something called neuropathy, something. Oh, is it on here? No. Something neuropathy. Well, anyhow, it could be caused by diabetes, it could be caused by B12, it could be caused by a bunch of stuff. But I thought it was that, because that explains the hands and feet. But right, I'm cutting off topic. Okay, so the neurological symptoms that I've been experiencing and have been for a while is paresthesias, which is abnormal sensation, typically tingling or prickling pins and needles. That's another place I get it sometimes, just a little bit on my cheek, just this side. That freaked me out when that happened, because I thought, am I going to have to go to hospital or something, because I don't want to lose feeling in my face. I was scared I'd get like Bell's palsy or something like that, or what's the other one? Sorry, I can't think. Bell's palsy. Yeah, it's gone completely. So let's get back onto this. So the pins and needles and prickling and tingling. Numbness in hands and feet, reduced skin sensation. So yeah, some bits that don't. Aphasia, which is apparently problems with speaking, writing, or reading. Now, I don't know if that is classed as it, but my word recollection is absolutely terrible. And in regards to reading and writing, where I have short-term memory issues, that impacts, because I'm not able to retain information very well unless I've had it over and over and over again over a long period of time. Like, say, this medical stuff, like I've read so many things and looked into so many things and reread about the same things over and over and over. So obviously a few bits of that have stuck, but nowhere near as much as should have. Does that even make sense? Right, I'm getting off topic, sorry. Positive Romberg sign, which is unable to maintain balance with eyes closed. I get wobbly if my eyes are closed. It's like I'm a bit like that. I can't stay still, and I also have to shift from foot to foot, else I feel unsteady. Burning legs and or feet. Clumsiness, lack of coordination. Like this, I've said it before, I get this shoulder thing. It's only my shoulder that it usually happens, or one particular foot like will find corners of things and whack itself against stuff all the time, and like my shoulder, I just like whack it into the wall accidentally. It's a good thing I'm quite gentle in my movements, because otherwise I could have caused quite a bit of damage. Like my youngest daughter, she could be quite sort of like heavy-handed, heavy-footed, so if she was doing what I do, as in like the feet and the shoulder and stuff, she'd be bruised to pieces. Like, I'm lucky that I'm not really, because I'm a bit slower, I suppose. So, and then there's another, those were the neurological symptoms. I can't remember if I said that. Then there's something called neuropsychiatric and psychological symptoms. Now, before I get onto this, I just want to say, I believe I've said it in my videos, but I've also said it each time I get my injection. This form of the hypomania I was having doesn't feel typical for me. It doesn't feel right. It's not the way I present. It's not normal. It's not my normal for mania. Like, it isn't. So if it was caused by a B12 deficiency, I'd understand that, because then that would explain why it doesn't feel like my typical mania and hypomania, or mixed, or rapid cycling. Because that, again, rapid cycling isn't normally me. And it wasn't the medication that caused that, because I've been off it and it's still happening. Right, back onto this. Neuropsychiatric and psychological symptoms. Megaloblastic madness. Yeah, which is depression, irritability, mania, paranoia, mood swings, delusions, psychosis. Well, delusions, that's pretty subjective. I mean, anybody can really... It's easy to say somebody has a delusion, isn't it, really? I don't believe I've had anything like that, but I know a few people would probably beg to differ with that, so I'm just going to say it's neither here nor there, really. Like, it may be, it may not. Psychosis, definitely not. I haven't. Well, except smelling things, but that's one of the parts that tend to linger all the time anyway. Memory and concentration problems. I've been saying this from the off. Brain fog, decreased mental concentration, confusion, dementia. Now, when I've read about dementia, in fact, this actually freaked me out, because when I read about this, like, actually the symptoms of dementia, that actually kind of freaked me out a little bit, because it was like, I can actually see parts of myself in that. Parts of my symptoms in that. One second, let me quickly find it. I've just got my phone here, because I did screenshot it recently. Well, I think I did. Where are we? Right, that's that. Dogs. I was looking at dogs. No, that's different. Right, that's that one. Before that, I'm trying to... Right, here we are. Early symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia. Forgetting recent conversations or events. I've said this before. In a 1 hour phone conversation, I'm lucky if I remember 3 things from the whole conversation, like 3 things. That's if I'm lucky. In fact, people around me take in more of the conversation than actually I do. Misplacing items. Funnily enough, I actually put... What did I put? My medication with my sunglasses in the bag in the fridge. It was supposed to go in the cupboard, and I couldn't find them anywhere. I put them in the fridge. Forgetting the names of places and objects. Not places, objects. A lot of the time, yeah, that happens daily. Having trouble thinking of the right words. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I don't forget the names of places or objects. It's actually having trouble thinking of the right word for it. Like, you can't think of I think I've mentioned this before, dressing gown. That's one that catches me out every time, and it has done for years. Like, I can never think of it on the spot ever. Like, it's just I can see it out of the corner of my eye. That's how I knew. I was saying it in my head beforehand, so I never messed that up. Asking questions repetitively. Yes. Like, seriously, I will ask, not just, do you want a tea or a coffee? It's not like, do you want a drink? It'd be like, to my daughter, do you want a tea or do you want a coffee? She'll say, I'll go into the kitchen, I'm about to make it, and it's like, I've gone, go back out there. What was it you said you wanted? Tea or coffee? She'll say it again. And then sometimes a 3rd or 4th time I have to go in. And then if it gets to the 4th time, it's like, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to make her this. Because she likes both anyway, so it's not as if, like, it won't be drunk. I'm acutely aware it's been almost 25 minutes, so I have gone over, but I haven't done a video in weeks, so I think that can be forgiven. Showing poor judgment or finding it harder to make decisions. Yes. What did I have to have help with? That's it. Yeah. Actually, funnily, did I read all of that? I'm not sure I did, you know. Funnily enough, oh, what was it? Yeah, my partner said, like, when we were out and about one time, I saw this sort of like jug and glasses, like, you know, like for just doing juice or whatever, like for the kids in the summer or for guests. And I really could not decide between three. I just couldn't for the life of me make a decision. So I ended up saying to my partner, I was like, you know, Roy, can you choose for me, because I can't make a decision. I really can't. Like, if I'll be happy with any one of them, but I can't make the decision for myself. Like, can you do it? And then the decision that you made, because there was one that had blue. I remember that one had blue. It's like crackled glass blue. It's really cute, and I liked that because it was fun, but it was also a little bit childish. But I liked and didn't like it for that reason. Then there was one that I'd say looked very grown up, sort of like a, you know, like a black see-through glass colour, and like thick, nice and thick, and like with a pattern and stuff. That was nice, very grown up, but grown up kind of almost boring too. And then there was this other one which was the same kind of style as the grown up one, but more colourful. So like, say there was like, you know, that black glass that's see-through still, so it's like, I can't explain it. But they were all like that, but with like different colour variations. So like, say they have a hint of yellow, hint of green, hint of blue, hint of pink, and a hint of purple, and then the hint of black. Oh, I think I got them all. There's 6. Did I get them all? So we ended up going for that one, and you know what? I'm so happy with that one, because it's just bang smack in the middle. You know, it's fun enough without being too childish. You know, and it's fine for grown-ups to drink out of. Not that we really have many visitors, be it adult or children, but you know, it suits both. So yeah. Where are we? Becoming less flexible and more hesitant to try new things. Now, I've always been hesitant to try new things. I really have. I've improved a bit upon that, I'd say, since I hit maybe 30. But that'll still always be a thing, you know. I'm just trying to remember, did I even read all of this out? Oh my god, you know, I didn't. For Christ's sake. Sorry. So we did the neuropsychiatric and psychological symptoms. This thing, getting distracted easily, which was, you know, the memory, concentration, brain fog, decreased mental concentration, and we got to the confusion, dementia thing, which I mentioned about the fridge, and then also those symptoms. Okay, right, back to it. So anemia or anemia-like symptoms, which is extreme fatigue, shortness of breath at times, and going up the stairs, and things that I shouldn't get it over, like standing too long, could sometimes cause slight shortness of breath. Dizziness, feeling faint, vertigo, yes, upon standing, especially, but also even sitting. Yeah. Pallor. I think that's to do, I think that means pale, doesn't it? Does that, well, something to do with the complexion. So, but I think that could explain either being really pale or that yellowy tinge that I say that I get, that I can never get on camera accurately. But I have that too. Postural hypertension, drop in blood pressure upon standing. Now, I don't know if my blood pressure dropped. No, it doesn't actually. I don't know why I've ticked that. Mine's the complete opposite. Your heartbeat's meant to raise anything up to maybe, 20 beats per minute when you stand up. Mine, like, my heart rate basically like doubles when I stand up. Like, it gets a lot higher. So I don't know why I ticked that. Maybe I didn't understand it at the time. Gastrointestinal symptoms. This is diarrhea. Like I said, I have had sort of like IBS mixed instead of like just constipated. I haven't had any weight loss. I've been having really hungry still. Stomach problems, heartburn, discomfort. That's the thing that I think I've told you before. The heartburn medication stopped working. I'm now on lansoprazole, 15 milligrams twice daily, because the one tablet a day at 30 milligrams only worked for a few hours. But taking it 15 milligrams, half the dose, morning and evening, has helped more. Still get it, but not to the same degree where it's like almost the whole day every day. It's not as bad now. Then there's a part that says gynecological and neurological symptoms. I haven't had any of those. It's basically, well, infertility, I wouldn't know. I've got the implant in my arm, so I can't really honestly answer that. But this basically covers like incontinence and things like that, so I don't have anything like that. Other symptoms, this is another one that I've ticked all the time. We'll do a couple more minutes. Other symptoms. Okay, sleep disturbance. I mean, that's been happening various degrees of since I was 3. So I mean, but my sleep has been worse since Dexter than before him. Yeah, has been worse. Tinnitus, hair loss. No hair loss. In fact, I've had the complete opposite. Like, my hair's like thickened up loads. It's growing super fast. Tinnitus, I do get. Yeah. And brittle nails. Oh my god. Like, I don't know if I can show you. They look so bad. Like, see if you can see how. I don't know if it's going to show you. So they're basically see-through, and like I get these things like basically where you get like little ridges, and then I end up like kind of scraping it like that and peeling it off, like just to get rid of it, because otherwise it just catches on things, and I think it's going to pull the whole flipping nail off. So it's just safer to just peel that little bit of nail off and be done with it, really. There were a few more things I was going to discuss, but I'm kind of pushing it with time, really, aren't I? So maybe, yeah, I'll leave. I was going to talk about, because I actually got the results through, as in like I saw them for my, remember I had the Holter monitor done in, oh god, I don't even remember. I think there was a bank holiday. Might have been near Easter. But I know the results were uploaded May 17th, and the doctor's surgery said they didn't get them, blah, blah, blah. Had to have them resent. And then I asked about the results, asked the receptionist to ask the doctor, and the doctor told the receptionist, yeah, results fine. They keep getting it muddled up with that blimmin' 24-hour ECG. It's like, no, I'm not asking about the 24-hour ECG. I'm asking about the Holter monitor that I wore for like a week. It's that I want to know how it is, because an actual cardiologist looks that over. Like, well, yeah, do I have time? Not really. Well, I'll do my very, very best. I'll set an alarm, and even if I feel like crap and only end up doing a 5 or 10 minute video next Wednesday, I'll do it. But like I said, it may not be as long as this. It really does depend how I feel. I'm actually genuinely surprised I've managed to carry out a video this long. I think though it's where I get hyped up, where I talk about this stuff, because it kind of stresses me out a little bit. So, not stresses me out, it's a catch-22, because having something to focus on, i.e. my health, helps, because it gives my brain a focus with the mania. It gives me something to hyper-focus on. And when I can hyper focus upon something, then I can make sense of things, and then it helps my brain, even though it's going manic, the writing helps calm it, and like organizing things in my brain and on these scraps of paper and everything, although it's no good for my health because I can make myself more ill by thinking, oh, I've got this, oh, I've got that, but it does also help too, because it's organizing things, it's pigeonholing it, it's clearing the clutter, it's organizing the clutter in my mind, and that to some degree does help me. I find that a little therapeutic, even though it makes me act crazy. So it does both. It's a double-edged sword, it really is. Right. So it's my legs. But I am going to have to get going. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see any future videos. Like I said, I'm going to set an alarm for Wednesday. I will try to stick to my allotted time that I try to do, sort of 20-25 minutes. But I mean, if I really am feeling so incredibly rough that I could just barely show my face and say 10 sentences, then at least I would have showed my face instead of hiding for weeks. Yeah, it's unfair to do that. So yeah, I will be here next Wednesday and we will talk through the Holter results. I will chase my cortisol results, which I have actually been chasing, but no one's getting back to me just yet. I think the person's on holiday and another person's left, so it's proving to be quite difficult getting those results at the moment, but I will get back to you with those, and then hopefully by next week we might know a little bit more about like if I should ask for an intrinsic factor antibody test. But obviously they won't do that without first confirming that there's low B12. I've had a B12 count done, which was okay. It's around the 300 mark, so lower side of normal. But that doesn't show how much is active. Maybe only 10% of that's active, in which case that's a terrible, terrible result, and could mean the B12 deficiency, possibly. I don't know. We'll cross all that bridge when we come to it next week. But I've really got to go. I've got to rest. So exhausted. Well, take care of yourselves. Thank you for tuning in. And I look forward to your comments and speaking to you all next week. Until then, take care. Bye for now.